Fans gush over the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and for weebs and dweebs alike, the absolute best blades represent the cream of the crop. But what about those swords that don't quite make the cut? For the MCU, when you want to talk about the weakest swords in the mega franchise, you need to look no further than what we've got right here. The 7 weakest swords in the MCU. Number 7. Crossbones Retractable Knife. Unsheathed from his gauntlet in Captain America Civil War, that knife proved to be one of the most pathetic weapons in any of the Marvel movies. It lasted for just a few moments before shattering apart, and compared to the high-tech mech armor Crossbones was wearing, it looked downright silly. 6. Loki's Daggers. Now, these may be deadly in the God of Mischief's hands, but do they really do anything special? More than anything, he just makes them appear and disappear with his own magic. But given that Loki has been shown doing the same trick with anything from the Tesseract to a quill pen, it's clear his twin blades are little more than ordinary pig stickers. 5. Loki Scepter. You know, while we're at it, it isn't any more useful than his daggers, to be honest. Sure, when it holds a Mind Stone, it's capable of releasing energy blast and enswirling minds to his will, but, you know, that's really just the stone doing that. If you notice the blade at the end of the scepter, it really doesn't serve any other purpose than looking cool, and even then it kind of has that kind of Joss Whedon-y, Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV quality look to it, instead of something really awesome, like the Odin Sword, for example. 4. Thors Gladiator Sword. Now, this blade, to be honest, was pretty awesome, as was everything from the planet of Sakaar, but it didn't do him much good against the Hulk, and that's likely because it's one of the most useless blades in the MCU. You know, while Thor gave Hulk a run for his money with raw strength, he almost did better when he discarded his weapons altogether rather than relying on those silly scraps of metal. 3. Fandral Sword. Now this is practically just as useless as anything else on the list. The Warriors 3 got far too little play in the MCU before getting unceremoniously murdered off in Ragnarok, and Fandral is probably the member who got the least memorable screen time. Even Sif's sword had a better show against the Destroyer armor. Fandral's might as well have been a toothpick because really it just did absolutely nothing. 2. Killmongers Blades. Now these are barely better than Fandral's, or I should say, more useless than Fandral's. Throughout Black Panther, Killmonger had some of the best weapons and tech he could possibly get his hands on. Supposedly, he was an elite mercenary who dedicated his life to fighting, so how bad was his blade that he never actually managed to cut anything with it? Alright, number 1. Now, this one actually was a huge disappointment for me when it showed up in the movies, so it definitely needs to be here in the top spot, and that's Taskmaster Sword. You know, if anybody here has played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or, you know, perhaps you're actually an OG fan and you enjoyed the comics, watching Taskmaster Sword on the big screen was just kind of, you know, really useless. It was just a really lame weapon that didn't carry any type of gravitas with it. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be like Mjolnir or Cap's shield, but you know, it's Taskmaster's sword. It should have been pretty badass. The rest of this list is filled with forgettable weapons or blades that never managed to do anything. In the comics, Taskmaster Sword can do a whole lot. It can, you know, chop through concrete. It can turn things on fire, which it did to Venom, but in the MCU, it was just a total dud. All right, let me know what you guys think. Leave down in the comments below if you think there are any other weak swords in the MCU that you think I left out, or if you have your own vote for lamest or weakest sword. I'll catch you guys next time.